This video will show how the NFL's running game flourished in 1972 and why some of the main reasons were the reduction of effectiveness in the deep passing game along with the movement of the hash marks. This is the only rushing attempt of Hall of Fame middle linebacker Dick Butkus's 9-year NFL career. Good for 28 yards. Here are some awesome runs from 1972. Complex zone defenses were being devised at the turn of the 1970s decade, which greatly reduced the effectiveness of the deep passing game. Also, cornerbacks used to roll block and cut down wide receivers at the line of scrimmage, which upset the timing of pass plays. Only Otis Taylor gained 1,000 receiving yards, and only 3 receivers gained more than 900 yards. The NFL was alarmed that 75 fewer touchdowns were scored in 1971 than in 1969, so they moved the hash marks together. Hash marks are the small lines on the field that indicate where the ball is placed for each play. The new hash marks are 23 yards from the sidelines, less than 20 feet apart. This change was a boon for the NFL's rushing game because the ball was placed closer to the middle of the field, so offenses had more room to operate. With more room to operate, teams instructed their athletically talented quarterbacks to upset defensive schemes with rollouts. More quarterbacks were effectively running the ball too, whether undesigned like Fran Tarkenton or by design like Mike Phipps. The number of 1,000-yard rushers doubled from 5 in 1971 to 10 in 1972, with 5 of the 10 runners having the top rushing yardage mark of their career. The same theme held true for the most noteworthy rushing quarterbacks. Let's take a look at 3 of the best 1972 running quarterbacks. There were almost 3,400 more rushing yards from 1971 to 1972, a dramatic 7% increase. The Dolphins led the NFL in rushing yards during 1971 with 2,429, and in 1972 they led again with the then NFL record 2,960 rushing yards, an amazing 21.9% increase. Strangely, there was a 10% decrease in touchdowns from 1971 to 1972. In Detroit, quarterback Greg Landry had set the single-season rushing yard record for quarterbacks in 1971 with 530 yards. In 1972, he ran for 524 yards. It only took Bobby Douglas 8 weeks to break his record in 1972, which is utterly amazing. Douglas ended up with 968 yards, a record that stood until Michael Vick rushed for 1,039 yards in 2006, albeit in 2 more games. Here's a look at the 10 1,000-yard rushers of 1972. But first, here's the story of Falcons running back Dave Hampton. He was a ninth-round draft pick by the Packers out of Wyoming in 1969. In 3 years in Green Bay, he only rushed 195 times. In 1972, he was traded to Atlanta for guard Malcolm Snyder, and he rushed 230 times for 995 yards. In Week 14 against the Chiefs, Hampton was honored as Atlanta's most valuable player. Then, early in the fourth quarter, he cracked the 1,000-yard mark, received a game ball, along with a standing ovation. However, a few plays later, he was thrown for a 6-yard loss. With almost 14 minutes left to play in the game, he was unable to recoup this lost yardage, and he finished the season with 995 yards. Larry Csonka was a bruising running back. Csonka's backfield mate, Mercury Morris, ran for an even 1,000 yards to make the Dolphins the first NFL team to have two 1,000-yard rushers in the same year. Speaking of firsts, Mike Garrett was the first NFL running back to rush for 1,000 yards in a single season for two different teams, the Chargers and Chiefs. Mike Garrett preceded O.J. Simpson at the University of Southern California. O.J. won the NFL rushing title with 1,261 yards, the first of four, but it was tainted. More on that later. He made first-team All-Pro, finished second in the Offensive Player of the Year award, and finished third in the NFL MVP vote. The Bills head coach Lou Saban was starting his second stint as their head coach in 1972. He coached them from 1962 through 1965, and they won the AFL championship in both 1964 and 1965. O.J. only averaged 14 carries per game over his first 3 years in Buffalo, after averaging 35.5 during his senior season at USC. Saban pledged to give the ball twice what he had been getting. Simpson didn't do that in 1972, but he did carry it 60% more. Larry Brown was the 1972 NFL MVP. With the playoff spot locked up after Week 12, Redskins head coach George Allen rested Brown for the playoffs, and he did not play in the last two regular season games. He finished with 1,216 rushing yards, 35 less than O.J. This is why I stated that O.J.'s rushing title was tainted. Despite missing 2 games, Brown still finished third in the NFL with 285 carries. Pittsburgh Steelers hadn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since 1964, when John Henry Johnson turned the trick. In the 1972 draft, they cast their fortunes onto Franco Harris with their first selection. He rewarded them by being named the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year. 1971 NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year was John Brockington when he rushed for 1,000 yards. In 1972, he became the first NFL running back to rush for 1,000 yards in each of his first two seasons. 1969 NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year was Calvin Hill. Much like Franco and Brockington, Hill was both big and fast. Ron Johnson was the NFL's busiest runner, as he led the NFL with 298 carries. He finished second in 1970 when he also rushed for 1,000 yards. Marv Hubbard was a bruising fullback, much in the mold of Larry Csonka. He sported a 5.0 rushing average, but there weren't any fancy moves being displayed, just straight-ahead power running. "1972 should be remembered as the year that the NFL's new chief offensive weapon was an effective rushing attack. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. As always, thank you for watching.